Jordan with AB Friendly Company and the Underground Meadery. Hey, we're into February. You already saw us start with our first orange of the February, which was an orange flavored mineral water. Kind of freaky, right? So we're going to try to get into more advancement of this. What I have here is Winter Park honey. This is out of Colorado, but they're a distributor. They collect natural raw organic honey from all over the United States and resell it. This orange blossom honey actually came from Orlando, Florida, and then redistributed through Winter Park. So since we're doing orange this month, the honey that we're going to test this month is going to be orange blossom honey. This honey has come from the pollination of the orange trees out of Florida. Now, the last time we did this, we used basically 2 pounds of clover honey. We used the yellow pack of Red Star yeast, which is the premier, and a balloon and our fermentation device. I have the water, I have our test tube for the hydrometer, I have our temperature reading, and we'll have our hydrometer. We'll be using the coffee pot method to heat the water, and a little bit of orange blossom mead. A little sweeter than I thought it'd be. So what we need to do is get our fermentation device and write down our recipe. Our recipe says orange blossom honey mead, 2 pounds of Winter Park orange blossom honey, ½ gallon of the filtered well water through osmosis, 1 pack of the yellow Red Star yeast, our date, the temperature that will rise, the specific gravity, and the final gravity. So let's go ahead and get started. So we've never opened these up. We're going to do this all from the basic start, just like how we did before. This will be good. So we're going to be adding, this will be what we call a sack mead or a sweeter mead. If we were doing this in a gallon batch, this would be almost 4 pounds of honey. But since it's a ½ gallon batch, we're actually adding 2 pounds. I'm trying to show the most flavor. So when we're doing our ½ gallon batches of the flavored honey, they'll have 2 pounds so we can get the most flavor of the type of honey that we're using. Now remember, it's okay if not all the honey comes out. That's what the coffee pot's for. All right. Now, I have already gotten my water heated in our coffee pot. So we just stick some in the jar, put the lid back on it. Remember to always save your lids. And we're going to get the residual sugar, or the honey, out of each one of these jars. Now, as you've seen, AB Friendly Company, usually mostly glass. These are plastic. If you wash these, hand wash these, they'll warp and melt. So if you ever want to use these again, make sure you hand wash them. That's one reason why we use glass. And glass can be refilled with seed jars for planting crops, making your own drinks, packaging and storing. I like glass more than I do the plastic. Some people really like the plastic. Now as you see, I turn the bottle. That way anything stuck on the sides, I can make sure I'm getting it out. When I turn it, I'm looking to see if there's any honey stuck to anything as we go through. Now, I'm going to put my hand over this. We're going to just mix up the honey here a little bit. See if we can break it down with the amount of water that we have in there. Remember, we don't want the temperature too high. We don't want to kill the enzymes that the honey has naturally. And we want to keep it at a temperature that we can start fermentation. Dissolving pretty good. So the object of this is to dissolve the honey down into a liquid form, easier for the yeast to eat. Right? We'll be adding a nutrient to it next. There we go. It's all dissolved, nothing sticking. Looks pretty good. So we're going to fill this the rest of the way up with the cooler water. I left a little room from the neck up for the foaming and stuff from when the yeast is activation. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to give it one little quick little turn, mix the added water that I have with the cool and the cold. Going to take our hydrometer reading. Pull out our hydrometer. Now this one's sitting at 1.110. So we write that down in our jar. 110. Alright, so we have our starting gravity. Remember, always have your wet rag to kind of clean off things as you go. Remember, working with honey in the water, it's going to be a sticky mess. Put it back in your container. You don't want your hydrometer to be broken. Real quick, let's just see what the temperature was. We'll let that sit in there for a minute. I can see it here on the side. We're at about 70. So it cooled off quite a bit by adding the cold water. So we'll write down that temperature. Okay, so we have a good temperature to add the yeast now. We'll pour this back in. Remember, leaving a little bit in our bottom. Now, that's extremely sweet. I do taste the hint of the orange blossom in it. It is a whole different taste than when we added the orange vitamin water to it. It should be turning out to be a pretty good mead. So let's go ahead and We're going to add our yellow star yeast to it. Remember, we're going to compare this one to the clover honey. So we made them identical, except for we used orange blossom honey. So the first one we made was a ½ gallon of water, 2 pounds of clover honey, the Red Star Premier yellow pack yeast, same thing here. Remember, give it a little jostle, get the yeast down inside the mix of the sugar. Put our airlock on it. This was done identical to the clover mead that we first started out showing you how to make. So now here in February, we're starting our orange batches. We used an orange flavored water with clover honey. Now we're using orange blossom honey. Now, as we go through the month here of February, we're going to be doing a summertime shanty. And then we're going to be doing a Joe's Ancient Age orange mead. We're going to be using clover honey for both of those. But if you would like to, since we're using this and you want to purchase more orange blossom honey, use orange blossom honey for the whole mix. Compare them. You could do this same mix with the next one and use it compared with the summertime shanty with the orange blossom to compared to the clover. This is one of the things that I want you to start trying in your mead making process. Hey, I'm Michael Jordan with AB Friendly Company. Thank you for turning into the Underground Meadery and seeing us. We are doing our new meads here for the month of February. Hey, be on the lookout that we're going to be coming out with some classes, and we're going to be coming out with a contest. It'll be announced on Facebook that we're going to be packaging up a fermentation kit, right? That it's going to have all the ingredients and stuff, a recipe for you. We haven't announced yet what the recipe is going to be, right? But we're coming out with one. You're going to get a whole packet with a fermentation device, the airlock, the honey, the mixed ingredients and stuff that goes with it. And it should be very good. Hopefully you guys will enter the contest when it comes out on Facebook. Look for it on the Underground Meadery site, my personal page, AB Friendly Company's page, and here on YouTube when we start to announce it. Remember, enjoy your mead making.